let's go back to our childhood a little bit. How would you feel if you had a kid just like you?
No one was posting bikini pictures when they were 13.
I always felt guilty that I didn't like kids as much as others did.
I was like, ew, boy, go away. I have to go to dance. I was bullied very badly in like middle and high school. So Jonas, I love you.
Well, now
even though you're married with a child on the way, but Harry Styles, what's up? Rolling.
Let me get comfortable
Rolling on the river.
as I start. Whoa. River.
I don't even know what like note that was. Was that like a baritone or a tenor? Which one's lower? I'm an alto.
Yes.
So.
Oh, so am I. Are you really?
Yeah. I'm an alto 2 though.
An alto.
Are you an alto 2 or an alto 1?
I don't remember any. I don't know. I have no idea.
I want to be a soprano. I want to hit the Mariah Carey note.
Oh, I know. But can you?
No.
Oh.
It doesn't sound
I
good.
want to be
I mean,
a soprano.
I can, but it doesn't sound good.
You're like, I want to be a soprano, but you're not, so.
Welcome back to another episode of Millennial Girls, guys. We're
I'm Racquel.
I'm Natasha. Switch it. I'm Racquel.
I'm Natasha.
And we are in her humble new abode.
Yes. It's so sad because Racquel and I have both obviously been quarantined and like now we're out in the wilderness. Like you can even if you're watching on YouTube, we're like jungle hair and like I just put my hoodie on to get comfortable so that we feel like we're all like, you know, sitting here and having a chat together, but we feel super awkward like being in front of each other.
Real. I mean, we've seen each other, but I haven't seen her for like 2 or 3 weeks.
I know, but we've never like spoken or have a conversation like in front of each other. So it's super
on
weird.
Camera.
I think it's like having eye contact with each other for such a long period of time too, because it's like, hey, look into my soul.
Look at those eyelashes.
I know. Yours too.
Oh, well, mine aren't real. But anyway. But hopefully you guys enjoyed episode 13, 12, all of them. If you haven't checked them out, you should, obviously. And we're going to have a little bit of a therapy session today. Natasha wants to get deep, so let's go. We're recording this before our Thursday Instagram Live, so we're on a bit of a time crunch, so we're just going to get into it. I feel like there's going to be a body language person watching, and she's going to be like, she was really uncomfortable at this moment in time. She's pulling on her left ring. That's my right hand.
You're too influenced by the Jada Pinkett and Will
Smith.
Can you brush up on that a little bit? We were watching a video before getting onto this where we were like trying to brainstorm.
What's the word? Entanglement. You guys need to watch it for yourself, and you let us know what the entanglement means to you, because and my friends were all saying we have an entanglement with Harry Styles because we're obsessed with One Direction. I was like, that's me. That's my entanglement.
Everybody talk. Sorry, we're going in circles here, but Will Smith and Jada Pinkett have always been known. It's kind of been out in the open, but never confirmed that they might be swingers or have like this kind of open relationship. And so I guess they finally had this. What was the talk?
The round table talk, because the guy that she cheated, whatever, Will Smith with.
Entangled herself with, you mean?
Yeah. Came out and was like, I had a relationship with Jada, and everyone was like, whoa, 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 and all this, and Jada basically was like, I did it, and I'm proud, and I found happiness in myself, and Will's just sitting there like.
They're literally having a conversation about her cheating on him to each other, so.
And the rest of the world.
Racquel is Will, I'm Jada, and I'm just like, I cheated on your ass, and I'm proud of it. Like, I'm okay with it.
And Will's just like, you have to zoom in on that face.
You gotta watch. You gotta watch it. By the way, we tried to set up 3 camera angles. That wasn't working, so we're on 1 right now. But anyways, we're united.
Fine.
So let's dive deep. We're going back to like childhood and stuff, and of course we've brought it up many times on the podcast that both of us are dancers, we competed, etc., etc. Don't want to go down that lane too much, but I wanted to ask Racquel, when you were younger,
yes,
how did you picture your life like when you turned about 30 years old? Like when you were in your 30s, like what did you imagine your life to be? And I'm not just talking about just career, but like did you see yourself being married? Did you see yourself with like 10 kids? Like what was her face? Sorry. I said 10 kids in her face. So, yeah, tell us.
okay, I don't know if I'm a freak. Well, I am a freak. We all know I'm a little weird. But I wasn't that little girl who was like drawing out her wedding and coloring herself in a wedding dress. I was picturing myself dancing on Broadway or hosting a TV show. Like, even when I was little, I was putting on shows for my family whenever I could, and my parents always, were so great and supportive, and we would always go see shows, and that when they came down here, and I remember I saw Wicked when I was really young, and I was like,
I still have yet to see it.
Because Glinda is in the sparkly dress, and it was just everything I needed in my life, and I was like, that's it, I'm gonna be on Broadway, or whatever. But I wasn't the person that was picturing themselves, with 10 kids married or anything.
Having a family.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, my parents have been together since they were like 13. Ew, gross, I know. I mean, that's a long time. I'm always like, how did you stand? Have you like stood each other?
How did you stand each other for so long?
For so long. Seriously, because everyone I met when I was 13, they were so annoying. Like all the boys, I was like, ew, get away from me. So, but I was never that person. Like I didn't date in middle school or high school. Right. I was so dance. Anyone was like, where's Racquel? At dance. What do you got to do? I'm at dance. And then we've talked about this before. When I got older, I have an audition. I'm going away for this weekend for dance. So I was never sitting around with my friends like, oh my God, he's so cute. Like, I only went to homecoming once. I went to prom. Me and all my friends went together. It just wasn't like, I was just waiting to get out of high school.
It's funny because my situation is super similar too. Like you saying it just reminds me of myself, which is like, it's so ironic because I would think like, sorry, I'm totally like putting you in a box. But if I had met Racquel for the first time, I would have imagined her being a little bit more of like I want a wedding dress and that kind of a girl, like at first glance, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that's just judging at first glance. But then like obviously getting to know each other, like we've found that we have like a lot more in common and all this stuff. And so I was the same way. Like I wasn't drawing the wedding dress or anything. And like, I don't know, I guess I kind of shamed myself for it a little bit. Like when I got older, because I felt like, wow, like why am I so different? I always kind of felt like why do I feel like so many other girls want to be like married and have kids, and like why do they like children and why do they like babies? And I always felt like I didn't know I was going to go into the baby talk, but here we are.
Whoa.
No, but like even like when my mom's friends would like ask me to babysit their kids, like I was like, and I know Racquel's a little bit different because like she taught kids.
I was gonna just say I didn't like even picture myself not being married or having kids, but when I was teaching and I was teaching them and watching them, I taught for 9 years. So taught dance. So this is the first year since I was 18 I haven't taught because of everything, and so I mean, I would say the past couple years is when I was like, okay, like, I guess. I mean, I love kids. They're like, when I was younger, I was like, I'm good.
Like, could you babysit kids when you were younger?
I didn't babysit because I was always freaking dancing.
Right.
So I literally didn't even babysit.
But like, even if you were given the chance, like, would you like it, or you'd be like, eh?
No, I feel like it wasn't even that. I feel like I wouldn't even trust myself to like take care of a child if I was like 13, 15.
Don't hire Racquel. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I always know. Now I watch all my little cousins and everything. But
no, for sure.
I mean, I was super immature also too, just mentally, not like mentally.
You're what's the word? Late bloomer.
Yeah, I wasn't. Again, like I guess I didn't like date or anything in high school, so maybe that's why. But I wasn't even interested. I was like, ew, boy, go away. I have to go to dance. Peace.
That's so funny.
Like that was so.
Yeah, you were just. I feel like you were just a late bloomer in general. So like things that maybe happened for other people sooner, it just happened for you later. Which in a lot of cases, or in a lot of ways, I can relate to a certain extent. Though I wasn't. I guess I was definitely more aware. And I definitely had like my crushes and stuff when I was already like 10 years old. I liked Jesse McCartney and Joe Jonas. I wasn't magazine.
Even still then, I wasn't like, ew, you're bi. Like,
right. But you didn't have like a Jesse McCartney in school. You had like a Jose or something
that. We had no Jesse. We had Jared or whatever. Like there was no Jesse McCartney in school. Sorry. See, even then I was like, the pretty one. Like, but at school there wasn't that.
I definitely liked a little bit prettier looking too when I was younger, and then it kind of changed like over time. I had different phases, I guess. Looking back, even if I go and like look at my friends now, like I can't say, I don't know where I got this idea that I'm so different, because it's like I meet you and you had a similar story to me. Then I had like other friends that like I don't remember them being like, oh my gosh, on my wedding day. So like I don't know where this idea came from that like, so I don't know, maybe I guess in the media, like from seeing shows on
like
TV.
Say Yes to the Dress, and they're probably like, I dreamt of this moment my whole life, and I'm like, I didn't.
I mean, I guess we could blame Disney for it too. How many people say that? I mean, everybody's.
I was dreaming of myself on the red carpet, like straight up. I'm not even joking.
Right.
My friends will say, as long as they've known me, middle, high school, I was always like, I'm going to be on the red carpet. I'm going to be hosting something. I will see you there. Like, that was what I was
see you
dreaming
there.
about. Like, see you never. That's what I was talking about, seriously.
Right.
And my friends, of course, were always like, oh yeah, whatever, but hi.
Did your friends growing up have that same mentality, like of I don't really care that much about like getting married and having kids, or did you have like friends growing up around you that were like, oh, I really want like a family and like 4 kids?
No, I mean,
or like you get in the relationships and they're like the ones that are like, I want like 2 boys and 1 girl. Like, no,
I don't. My friends weren't like that. Like my friends I grew up with, my 2 best friends are geniuses. So first of all, they were in all AP classes. Their number one focus was school. My number one focus was dance. So we weren't even, and one of them is married now. She's the one who just got married. But I mean, they didn't date in high school either. We weren't talking about that stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like also back then we didn't have social media. It wasn't such a thing. No one was posting bikini pictures when they were 13. Like, we were still...
Drop a photo of us at 13 right here in the middle.
No, ew. I was... braces, glasses, like...
Oh, so was I.
Yeah, I was so scrawny because I've danced a million hours. Like, it was a completely different time. Now I look at my cousin who's 14 and I'm like, you're a model? Like, what?
It's like the norm now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't have, I don't know. I didn't have friends that were talking about that, but again, I was kind of I wasn't cool and popular in high school or middle school or whatever, so.
Right. Well, I'm sure even the cool and popular, I'm sure like not all of them had that same experience either. I that's a funny thing. Like, I don't know where this assumption came from that it's like you're kind of like meant to be that way, or like as a girl you would assume that you'd be like really into kids and like really into marriage. And I'm not saying you personally, like even me myself, like I always felt guilty that I didn't like kids as much as others did. And so, of course, like obviously the older you get, and this even applies to any young people listening now who are probably like even anti-marriage and anti-whatever, because everybody's like so independent now.
Yeah. I've always been that way. So I think maybe that's why I just never, thought like was
put
that
yourself
type
in
of
like fairy tale situation.
And like I'm Disney unicorns all the way, but I just never was like I didn't watch Cinderella and I was like, oh my God, I want my Prince Charming.
Right.
I watched Cinderella and I was like, oh my God, I want her sparkly dress. Like, that was me.
And I was probably like, the resentful one. I was like, oh, what a bitch that aunt she is.
And I was
like,
watching like The Little Mermaid and I was like, she's on a new adventure and grew legs and is singing. Like, that was me. I wasn't like, Prince Eric, hey.
Prince Eric. Meanwhile, I was like, the French chef.
Les poissons, how I love les poissons.
Right, and now I'm like, hey, Prince Eric, what up? But
right. Oh my God, if only they could be like real life, right? That's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, that was not me. Like, even like my sister's not that way either.
So that was going to be my next question. You both having a family, a household, because I didn't grow up in a household where it was the married parents or the couple or this, the family that everybody wants to have kind of thing, which no family is perfect. Doesn't matter what you say. But in your case, maybe from the outside, let's say if I knew you when I was 13 or something, and I see like, oh, you still have your parents together and you're still like one household. Why wouldn't you want that knowing that your parents are still together?
I did not want that. didn't think about it. Like,
Right.
I have, now, of course, when I'm in a relationship, I'm like, I'm not getting divorced. Like, my parents, like, you know what I mean? You stick with that person. I mean, unless something awful happens and they cheat on you or whatever, like, bye.
Right.
But I wasn't one of these kids. First of all, when I say I danced, I was at dance Monday through Friday until 10 o'clock at night. I was at dance at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning until 10 o'clock at night. And on Sunday, I was going into the studio for my solo lessons. So I literally didn't even have time to think about anything else. And I chose for my life to be like that. Like, my mom would always be like, are you sure you can handle it? You've got to get all your homework done before you. I'm like, I'm good. I did it in school. Don't worry. Like, I already got it done. But yeah, right. So I chose to have that be a certain way, and that was my true love. That was my first love. Everyone's like always like, what? I was like, who? I was like, no, it's dance. Dance is it.
You're like myself.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I wasn't that. I don't know. I wasn't that person. Even my parents who are still together and are the best. They still are like, hello, like.
When are you? The clock is ticking.
Yeah, and I'm like, go away.
I think maybe because you just didn't have, like, I guess, I don't want to call it failing, but like that's the best way to put it. Like something like failing or like not working in front of you, so you just didn't have anything.
I mean, I was definitely a
case.
sheltered kid. Like,
right.
That was 100%, which is fine. You know, you want to have your kids be in a safe area and protected and think everything is unicorns and butterflies. But man, when you work in the entertainment and music industry, let me just tell you, you have some shit happen, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
The hell?
You get a rude awakening.
You don't learn about this shit. Like,
right.
I remember, like, I had told you this story before. I remember going into college, and my two best friends went to UF together. They lived together, so they were together, and they're geniuses and smart and amazing. And I went to FAU. When I told you guys, I made the deal with my parents about going to school for 2 years, and then I would move to LA, blah, blah, blah. And I was making new friends. I had friendship things happen, and people stabbed me in the back, and I was like, I didn't deal with this. Like, I had my couple best friends that I grew up with. Some of my friends my best friend Sarah, I've had since I was 2 years old. We met in Mommy and Me, okay? So, I mean, I wasn't experiencing, like, that kind of stuff until I was older, and, I mean, whatever. But it was one of those things that I took a step back, and I was like, what? Yeah. Like, they don't tell you about these things. And I always say this now, because when I look back at it, I'm like, I feel like I don't want my kids to, like, be so sheltered. I want them to know that, like, shit gets real.
Right.
But then again, also, it's your kid, and you want everything to be unicorns and butterflies.
No, of course. You kind of keep, of course. You won't know till you get there, I think.
Yeah.
Because it was the same, my parents split up. Like, I don't have recollection of them together at all. And so my mom was, I guess, like, the primary parent. So, like, I was with her most of the time. And then, like, every other weekend I would spend with my dad. And with my mom, I felt extremely sheltered in a lot of ways, too. I mean, I definitely, like, found my ways, I guess, to, like, expose myself to things. But I never did anything bad. It was just a matter of, like, me, like, looking or reading or, like, going online or whatever it was that I did. I mean, I was on the computer a lot, actually, like as a kid. So, like, I would, like, my dad showed me how to play, like, games on, like, Yahoo. So, like, I'd go in there, but then it was, like, there were chat rooms involved, too. And so, I mean, obviously, like, sometimes I would open that door, and it was, again, nothing crazy. Yeah. Just, like, what was it? Like, you'd ask, like, for, like, the age, name, and I don't know what it was called. You guys know if you're, like, my age or older. But, so I was exposed, but at the same time, it wasn't until, I think, like, hitting, like, towards college time where, like, I started getting, like, a lot of rude awakening, too, of just, like, what, I guess, real life is.
Real life hit you real hard.
Right, or starting to meet people that were, like, outside of where I was from, and so, like, I guess just being exposed to, like, what life really is, right? Which, I mean, everybody's gonna have a turn to grow up, and in our case, I also wonder sometimes, too, like, I'm like, oh, if I were to have kids, like, would I shelter them so much, too? Like, I mean, probably not. It's just a matter of being honest, but, like, at a certain level, right?
And a certain age, too, of course. You're not going to tell your
mean.
8-year-olds, like, whatever.
The birds and the bees.
Yeah, no, I mean.
Do you want kids now?
Yeah, I do.
But, like, sure. Are you like, oh, I want, like, this many?
I mean, I guess it depends how hard the first one is.
Great.
Because I'm the firstborn, so
Yeah.
I'm always like, I don't know how you had another one after me, because like, woo.
Woo.
No, at least 2, I mean, God willing, because
Right.
I had a sibling, so I had someone to play with. We beat up on each other, and,
Yeah.
you were basically an only child until a certain age, so.
Yeah. I always see that's the weird part. It's like I don't like saying it because I obviously have a brother, but the thing is he's 13 years younger than I am, so I wasn't out of the house at 13, but I was like kind of already getting out of the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
You
once
weren't
I
at
hit
home
14,
playing, yeah.
I was like starting to go out with my friends, and so by that point when I was getting into high school, he was still crawling on the floor. I was already like I got my license like a couple
Yeah.
years later, so I was out the door, you know. So we are super close. We have a super good relationship in, you know, whatever context you want to take that, but yeah, I mean, I still text him from time to time. He messages me like, hey, how are you? Whatever. Now he's a sophomore in high school. And yeah, I mean, we just have a different dynamic because of that huge gap. And he's just like a really mature kid too. So he's like very calm. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a pretty calm person too, but he's like really calm and like, I don't know. I don't know. He's not one to like pick a fight with me. Like
Yeah.
even if I wanted to pick a fight with him, he probably would be neutral. Like he's just not that kind of person. So I don't have like that cliche like relationship with your sibling.
Yeah, like my sister texted me. I mean, I love her. Now we get along. Now that we both love K-pop, we are
right
coming together.
You are one.
Yeah, I mean, she's 3.5 years younger, you know, so she was just like the annoying little sister. She's also
right.
a genius, guys. She's so smart. It's like sickening. I keep thinking of the story the other day when she was like, I wouldn't say that because I'm
Yes. You can say it. I
so
don't care.
we're writing different, like, you know, when you have a podcast, you have to pitch different people for sponsors and stuff. Anyway, I was working with my friend who does PR to help write a pitch. And she's like, what's Natasha's background? She meant work background, and without skipping a beat, I literally am like, oh, she's Mexican. And she was like, that's really great that she is amazing, but what's her work background? And I was like, oh. And literally I told this story at dinner to my mom, my dad, my sister, my whole family was there. And without even finishing, my dad and my mom both look up, and my dad goes, you said she was Mexican, didn't you? My mom was like, I knew you were going to say
Her
it.
background, yes, my background.
And my sister was like, why would you do that? How is that even relative to what the conversation in the pitch is for? And I was like, I just think a different way than you, okay? Like,
oh boy, yeah, we both have those moments all the time. I feel like we're very prone to those kind of situations.
Racquelism, welcome to it.
When
Natashaism.
I was younger, I was I'm pretty perfectionist now, but I was more of a perfectionist when I was younger. So I was like not one to be caught with a mistake, and now I'm just like, like
whenever I start a sentence with, I have a question, or my whole family goes, oh no, here we go. Without a beat, my dad goes, he won't even be paying attention. He just hears I have a question. And they go, oh God, here we go. It's just one of those things. And I mean, I've had some pretty good ones. There was one time. There was one time where,
oh boy,
really embarrassing. We were in Ruby Tuesdays, and my dad had given me like some ribs to taste or whatever. And they give you the hand wipes. The hand wipes.
Yeah.
I take the hand wipe out and I start doing it like this, like in the little square, like I didn't know to open it up.
Stop. Wait, so if you're listening, Racquel she tears the hand wipe paper open. She takes the hand wipe in the shape of the square, and then she starts to slowly like wipe the palm of the hand with the square because she didn't know she could like unravel the wipe. Jesus Christ. Racquel! Really? She was like, oh, this is small just for me.
And my whole family.
It's my Polly Pocket wipe.
Literally Polly Pocket. Hello. That's my brain.
Oh my God.
I remember my parents, they still are like, hey, want to know what happened? I was like, really? Like,
with the wipe still?
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
And how old were you when this
I
happened?
was like 13.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I wasn't
first
little.
time. I wasn't little.
I wasn't like a baby. Like,
I wasn't a baby anymore. How would you feel if you had a kid just like you?
I mean, I'm fun and awesome. So.
Would you like love yourself? Or would you drive yourself crazy?
No, I feel like I would understand completely.
You would understand
this being because no one understands me.
Yeah, but you don't think you would get like in the nastiest fights? Like if you both are like the same?
I mean,
because earlier I was asking her who does she identify herself with more? Like who do like people that know her like say, oh, you're most like so and so. You're most like your mom. You're most like your dad. And you said,
I think my dad, but I'm fully my grandpa. So like,
no wonder. What did Eric say the other day that you were like the guy from Up?
Yeah.
You're like your grandpa. Can we put balloons like over her head? I'm gonna see if I can.
He's gonna be so happy with that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I mean, but I was a completely different person.
Really?
And I was bullied very badly in like middle and high school because I had come, well, especially middle school, because I had come, even in elementary school I was bullied. I was like pushed head first into a desk when I was little in kindergarten.
For what? Just
there was a mean girl, in her class.
Oh, girl did it to you?
Yeah, and then I was bullied in really, really heavily in 6th grade because I had come from a different elementary school than everyone else, and then everyone just like stuck with it. And so I anytime there's like a bully, so that's why I call all the cyberbullying and everything, I'm just like, oh hell no. Like even I was always like the older sister when I taught dance, and like whenever my kids had an issue, I was like, who do I literally need to bring their neck? Because this is not okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very quiet. Even in dance, I was very quiet. I was very focused. I mean, my mom had to, I remember this girl who rode the bus with me. She was super mean and she was bullying me. My mom like had to flip out on her, and I was like, yeah.
Really?
Because yeah, like I wasn't even doing anything. I didn't even talk to these people.
What does your mom say to your mom
spoke
to the little girl or like the parents?
This was middle school, so we weren't
not little
babies,
right.
But this was like 7th grade too, or 8th grade. We were not little. I don't remember what she said, but she was just,
No, but she spoke to her.
Yeah.
Directly.
Yeah.
And then did she ever mess with you again?
No, we didn't like speak. She also lived down the street from me. Like it was one of those things where we were friends, and then she got.
Yeah, but thank God. Okay, well, obviously she got the point when mom came into the
she literally.
picture.
Well, yeah, because I would tell her, everything that was going on. I mean, I honestly, wow, this really is like therapy. It's one of those things where you block those things out of your memory because it was just so. That's why I'm. It's funny because Eric also said this. I'm an insecure person. I'm an insecure, confident person. If that makes sense.
It's like
it's contradicting, but
right.
I'm very secure and confident with work and my job.
Right.
But outside type of thing, or even when you have the haters messaging you, we've talked about all this stuff. Obviously,
right.
that plays into an insecure situation. So I think too, like it's always like, oh, why don't you have a boyfriend or blah blah blah. So that makes you insecure too, because
right.
you're like, why don't I? I mean, I know I don't, because I hate everyone and I and I'm like,
you're
work,
like,
bye. But
right.
I went from being this very shy person who didn't really talk but my core group of friends, when I was with them, I was very goofy and loud.
Right.
And then transitioning into going to school for journalism, and I mean, honestly, when I got to college, I became a whole different person.
Right.
Like I became the person that my good friends and family knew outwardly, because I was finally like, I don't care. Why do I care?
Right.
Why do I care?
Well, yeah,
I don't care.
You obviously got to a point where you were just like, okay, I can be myself.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
And I think that obviously has to do too with like maturing,
out.
Obviously mentally too. Obviously if I was immature and insecure and all that stuff, like that plays into it too. But yeah, I finally got to the point I was like, I hate all of you. Like, why do I even care what you think? And now everyone's like, you're so secure, you're so confident, you literally are intimidating, you don't care what people think. I'm like, no. Bye. If you don't like me, peace out. But then it's like, also you have those insecurities of yourself because you're so critical, and that's where that comes in.
Yeah.
For our line of work, whatever. But yeah, I mean.
No, I mean, I think it's normal for.
Care.
I think it's normal for everyone to have insecurities in any shape or form, but of course it's like some are small and some are large. In my case, I was telling Racquel earlier that like, luckily, because, I was like, let's say, protected by my mom, and even like the relationship I had with my dad when I was young, like he always like would do fun things with me, and like we would always like have a good time. So I was never presented any situations. Like, I was really lucky that I wasn't really bullied or anything like that, but I definitely, that all attributed to me being very, like, sure of myself. And I was, like, a confident kid growing up. I consider myself not insecure, but I'm more introverted. So, like, I had my moments of, like, yeah, I keep more to myself, or, like, I'd kind of shy away, or sometimes, like, my friends would be, like, I guess the ones that were more noticed than me, and I would never understand why. Or, like, guys would like my friends and not me, and I'd be like, why? Like, and I would never understand, because I'm like, I feel like me and my friend are the same. Like, we're so similar. Like, we always make the same jokes. We do this, and we're such similar people. Why do they like her and not me? And so that was always kind of like my, I guess, insecurity in those times, but it never, like, stopped me from anything, or I never caved. I would be more outward, if anything. So, like, if I had a crush on a guy and, like, I kept it to myself for so long, and, like, all my friends knew, like, I ended up telling him that I had a crush on him. Mind you, it was on, like, MSN chat. It wasn't to his face. But, like, I had the balls to, like, somehow say it, I guess.
I literally would now, I'm just thinking about, like, being in high school and everything now. I was always this person that I was never interested in anyone in my school. I was always in dreamland. Like, I was always like, Jesse McCartney, Joe Jonas, like, always. Like, I was like, those are the guys that, like, because I'm going to be in LA, I'm going to be in Hollywood, I'm going to be in the entertainment industry. That's who I was paying attention to. Like, which is so funny, because I'm still literally the same way. I'm like, Joe Jonas, I love you.
Well, now
you're married with a child on the way, but Harry Styles, what's up? Like,
you're like, here's my number, call me.
Like, it's just so funny how, like, things come to fruition, because I've had so many people, you know, when they see good things happening to you and you've been friends with them on Facebook, they're like, oh my God, like, I know you always said you were gonna do this, and you actually are. That's always the number one thing I think people say to me, like, no one thought you had it in you. I'm like, well, I thought I had it in me, and that's all it takes,
matters,
you know?
Yeah.
And even my best friend Jordan, the one who lives in LA, we met when we were 18 folding flannels working at Abercrombie & Fitch, and he said to me, I'm gonna be the next Ryan Seacrest, and I said, I'm gonna be the next Juliana Rancic, and we instantly were like, did we just become best friends? And we did. And 9 years later, flash forward, and we still talk about it to this day. Like, people still are reaching out to him and me, and wow, you guys said you were going to do this and be in this life and this career, and you are. Mm-hmm. So it's like, for me, that's what I was always thinking about, and that's why I am the way I am, and where I am the way I am, obviously, you know.
Well, and I think too that, I mean, obviously it doesn't mean that you not getting into relationships and stuff because you were looking and shooting for the stars.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's meant to happen down the line. Like, it doesn't mean that, you know, just because it hasn't yet, like, maybe that's what is to come. And that's good that in a way you've kind of, I don't want to say preserved yourself, because obviously, like, you've had relationships, but in a way you've kind of preserved yourself for, like, no, something greater, because that's where I think, like, in many ways, in my case, when insecurities would come out, would definitely be when it came to guys, because I'd be like, why don't they like me? Or, like, I like this guy, why doesn't he like me back? Or whatever. And that was always kind of my thing. And then, I mean, there were many different things. Like, my mom would always give me lectures on, like, what it is that I was maybe missing or doing wrong. And not to say that there's any formula, but, like, I was more the kind of girl where I was too much about being myself, that I was like, I don't give a fuck. So I was, like, too much like that.
You had that rebellious stage.
I was definitely rebellious, especially, like, high school. And it was like, I mean, looking back, if I was walking around in a hoodie with my pants and, like, I wasn't wearing the skirt like most of the other girls, I was wearing pants with my hoodie up and, like, basically not showing my face. I mean, like, who's gonna like me like that? And again, not to say, like, you can't be liked. I mean, of course you can, and I did. I mean, people did like me even when I was like that, but they're obviously not the person that I ended up marrying, right? So it's like, you know, it's funny because now when I go, we're both talking about, like, kind of going back in the past and, like, how things are now, or if it's the same or if it's different. I always ask Andrea, my fiance, like, do you think, like, if we were to have met, like, if we were, like, the same age and, like, we were, like, both, like, kind of going to high school, and if we met, like, around that same period of our lives, would we have, like, even connected? And he's like, no, like, I don't think.
No, you didn't talk to people.
No, like, we wouldn't have connected. Like, if he saw me the way that I was, like, and again, it's not that I'm wearing a hoodie now because like this is me when I feel my most comfortable. But I mean, obviously, like my hair is out, I have my makeup on, I have my little hoops. I mean, I wore hoops then too, but I wouldn't wear makeup sometimes. And yeah, if he saw me out like that, like he wouldn't be attracted to me. Like that's just the truth. It's kind of messed up to say and admit, but like, I mean, I don't know. At the same time, I met him in like basically gym clothes, so I don't know. Who's to say?
Yeah.
Who's to say?
I mean, I totally was the like the ugly duckling kid. I had braces and glasses until senior year of high school, and I remember like basically senior year, I like walked in the first day and everyone was like,
"Who dat?"
And I was like, "You didn't like me from before, so bye." Like no,
Right.
and I remember people started like chatting or whatever, AIM or whatever.
AIM, yeah.
Or BBM. That's what we had because everyone in the Blackberries, so everyone was BBMing, and that's when and I was just like, go away. Like I was just not about it.
See, and I like that too because in that sense, at least you like stood your ground.
Even then, yeah.
I was the opposite. So it's like I had so much confidence in myself in like so many ways like that, but like too rebellious where like it kind of bit me in the ass. Like I had to mature a lot in that way over the years, especially like in the last few years I've matured a lot because I was that person that I was so rebellious that like I wouldn't get what I wanted either because I rebelled too much.
So it was like a double, they canceled each other out.
Yeah, so like when I was on dance team, like I was so like I don't care. But I need to care if I want them to put me front and center in the routine, let's say. So, like, since I was so, like, whatever, like, attitude, they didn't want to deal with my attitude. So
and now that I think back teaching, I literally was like, in the back. You're in the back if I had a kid like that. Because I couldn't.
That's kind of like, I mean, I didn't get sent to the back. I mean, with the jazz routines, I was like, that's fine. But hip-hop, I needed to be, like, front and center. And they'd always put me, like, breaking the center. Like, I was splitting the center.
That's the worst.
Whatever, but so maybe she did torture me like that for a reason.
Yeah.
But no, it bit me in the ass. So like down the line, my mom would always tell me like, bring your teacher's gifts, do this, do that. And I would like not get it through my head. Like I was like, ew, no, I don't want to be a suck up. Ew, no. And like now I totally get it. Like, it's like, if you're listening and if you were anything like me in the past and you still are like that, trust me, listen. Like, you don't have to be a total suck up and you don't have to be totally fake. Like, that was my biggest thing. Like, I don't want to be a fake person. I'm not a fake person today. Definitely not. I'm very real. If you watch my Instagram stories, you see I'm very honest. But in situations when it comes to anything where you might gain something, whether it's your career, whether it's whatever, networking in general, literally networking in general. I mean, you got to put a smile on. That's just what you have to do to get yourself wherever you need to go. So even if you're in an environment where you're working with people that you freaking hate, or the person is an idiot or whatever it is, and I'm not even talking about your higher ups, I'm talking about even like your colleagues. And I say this because I've worked in hospitality, and so but even in those moments, you got to just like take a deep breath and just, kind of mute them out and hey, how are you? Right? Like, you got to do it.
It's so hard for me to be fake. It really is.
It's so hard for me.
I wouldn't say I'm jaded by the industry yet, but I've just been through hell and back with everything. And so by the time, like, now I'm just like,
I think the biggest takeaway with any of it is just whether you're confident, you're having insecurities, whether you are, having this battle within yourself of like, okay, am I fake? I don't want to be fake and all this stuff. You just got to be you, but you got to be, your best you.
I was just going to say.
Your best foot forward in any of these situations, whether it's in school, whether it's with work, whether it's at home. I mean,
relationship.
Yeah, sometimes I treat it like that in a relationship too. Sometimes when you going back to compromise, when you sit there with a person and you ask yourself, do you want to be in a fight for the next 2 days, or you just want to get over it and move on? I mean, sometimes you got to just suck it up, take that deep breath and be like, okay, put the smile on and you get over it. So it same applies into anything else when it comes to, all this stuff that we're saying. And I think I totally forgot what my point was with that one. I had a good one.
Biggest takeaway.
Yes. Okay. I remember now. I remember my thoughts. So no. So yes, the biggest takeaway I think is just being your best you, putting your best foot forward in any situation, and most importantly, you never know, which my mom would always tell me this, you never know if you're ever going to deal or face that person again in your life. They can just show up, you not knowing. You can see the person that you hated in high school, and trust me, I hated many people in high school. You can see the person that you hated the most in high school, and somehow you end up on the same team in a job, right?
Yeah.
How many times? Even both my parents have told me this, right? I mean, obviously from experience, duh.
The world
and it
the
happens.
universe is very small.
It happens.
That's all I have got to say. And I mean, even now with social media being, us being big on social media and have a decent following, you never know what's going to come back and bite you in the butt. You never know, who you're going to meet. I mean, this is like one of the biggest stories. So when we met Jamie from Ultra, like when I brought her into the station, everyone's like, how did you know Jamie? I was like, I met her 5 years ago on a rooftop in LA. Like, and we kept in contact. And then I got a job at an EDM radio station. And,
right.
There you go. So the universe, 100% my hippy dippy side. The universe puts people in your life for a reason, even if you don't know what that is at the moment. And 99% of the time, you have no clue why they are put into your life. But it's always to be taught a lesson.
2,000%.
I can honestly say the past 3 months of my life, that has been the biggest situation with all the crazy stuff with the social media and just everything going on. I mean, that is the biggest, I think, lesson that I've learned why a lot of people were put in my life and that they should be out.
No, and it applies to many people. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, these girls that I hated from high school or whatever, like if we were to be, put into a situation down the line, and my mom would always be like, you never know if you might have to face them again. I'm like, I won't face them again. That was always my reaction. And then now, obviously, whatever years later, I'm like, yeah, no, that could definitely happen. And you don't want to burn those bridges for sure.
At this point, for me, high school was such a long time. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. Next year's my 10-year reunion. But for me, it was so long ago, and it seems like a different lifetime ago, and I was a completely different person.
Right.
That, I mean, my friends are, I'm to the point where my friends are like, oh, do you remember this person from high school? And I'm like, no. Who? We knew them?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm totally that person. They're like, they just had a baby. They just got remarried. And I'm like, okay, cool. I have a red carpet next week. I don't really. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
But,
we're not.
Yeah.
You're not interviewing them. You're interviewing other people.
I'm interviewing Martin Garrix.
You're doing your research on other folk. That was
Yeah.
the same. My 10-year reunion, I think, was last year as well. And a lot of my friends from back home, they went. I didn't go. And I don't regret it. Like, I don't. There were so many people. It was like, oh, we rekindled with so-and-so. And I'm like, who? Like, I don't know. Don't care. Like, I don't know.
I want to go if we have one because of COVID, but just to kind of people watch, honestly. Like, that's why I want to go.
That's what most of the people want to go for. But I was like, I don't even want to people watch. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm really bad. Sorry. Maybe I'm still being rebellious, and maybe I'm totally just like being a hypocrite with what I just said right now. But I don't care. Like, I don't care.
No, I literally just want to go to people. Honestly, I want to go because I want to see my best friends because we don't live in the same place anymore. So that would be super fun just to like be with each other and like.
But then let's be honest. A lot of people.
But people watching.
Oh, but all the singles are totally going to mingle. Let's be honest.
I always said I would bring Jordan, though. I always said I would bring Jordan, my best friend in California.
So I know, like, I think several of the girlfriends, they were like all single too when they went. And I was like, I know everybody's going to see who's there or like who's single and like who, doesn't have a rock on their finger.
Like,
why? Because in your case, it's like a bunch of people with like marriage and babies.
Yeah.
Bunch of babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. None of my friends have babies. Like my friends from childhood, my friends from childhood don't have kids yet.
Not from childhood, but I have about 5-6 friends.
Yeah.
From like college.
I mean, like, that was a wide statement. I have friends that have children, of course, but like my friends from childhood, like none of them have kids.
Yeah, like the couple friends I was telling you about that I've been friends with since I was little don't have kids.
And I'm almost 30. I'm turning 30 in November.
Yeah. But, and those people are literally, I mean, I remember people were having babies, like, I feel like the second we graduated, people started popping out kids, and I was like,
popping out kids? I remember there was a girl in my school who had, like, 5 abortions or something.
What?
Yeah, she was a dirty little hoe.
When she was, like, 18?
Yeah, I don't know what she was, 16, 17? I don't know. I mean, that was a rumor. Let's rewind.
Oh.
That was a rumor. Pretty sure it was true, but that was a rumor. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, I was...
And
even
I was
now, I'm still like, really?
And I was in a private Catholic high school, too. So, like, dirty.
There's always one.
They would always, like, get the pen and, like, sneak weed in their pen or something. Like, I don't even know how they did that stuff. I didn't even, like...
write with?
Yeah. Like, people would, like, try to sneak it or, like, the stories. Like, I've heard, like, not from my school particularly, but, like, I've heard people, like, oh, I had sex on the elevator in school or something.
This
and
is
then
a whole different topic.
And I'm like, sorry, I'm really thinking of one person that we had on our show, by the way, because she said it, but not on the show. She said it in her show.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like...
I was like, what?
I'm like, when? How? Like, how did that... Like, I think of my high school, and I'm like, there was a church in the back. Like, I don't know. Sorry, had to go there. There
was a church.
Classic Natasha. Yeah. Yeah, and one time, sorry, totally diverging here. We had to like wash each other's feet once because we were doing, guys.
What? Okay, this is a different episode.
We had to wash each other's feet because we did a religion class and it was mandatory because it was a Catholic school. And since like Jesus you don't have Jesus. She has Moses, but we had to go one day. The teacher was like, we're going to go into the chapel and we're going to like each have to remove the shoes and the socks and like wash the person next to you's feet. And I was literally like, like, how is this like a mandatory?
Mom, you need to pick me up. I don't feel good.
Guys. And then like, I think like the year or two after like that guy was gone and he was like a Francis or what are they called? I'm Catholic.
You went to Catholic school, not I.
He was like a Francis. What are they called?
A
like
pope?
with it? No, not a pope.
Not the pope.
No, the Pope definitely didn't tell us to wash each other's feet.
Oh my God, we gotta end it. I can't.
Anyways, guys, the Pope. It is a wrap. He is coming. The Pope is coming to meet me and Racquel from Rome. That was it. This is Millennial Girls Podcast. Racquel and Natasha here signing off. This is live news, but
I can't breathe.
I just have to say, make sure to ring the bell on the YouTube so you can get notified every time that we release a new episode.
Subscribe on all platforms.
Subscribe, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
iHeartRadio.
Yes, we remember this time.
See you next time. Peace,
we'll
love,
see you
unicorns.
in the next one. Peace, love, and unicorns. Follow us on Instagram.
Bye.